So next let's look at 2b. And here we have the limit of 1 minus cosine h the whole square over h. So this is definitely indeterminate, right? Because as h goes to 0, that cosine of h goes to 1, so that numerator becomes 0, and so there's a denominator. And indeterminate, but we don't know how to take derivatives of trigonometric functions yet. All we know, all that we can use is that there is this other indeterminate limit whose value is 1, right? So somehow I want to get from 1 minus cosine h the whole square over h to something that looks like sine over h. And the only way I can think of going from cosine to sine is by using an angle formula. So let's look at our list of angle formulas. So looking at the first set of formulas, there's nothing really that takes me from, something looking like 1 minus cosine to sine. But when I look at the second set of formulas, I see this one has a 1 minus cosine, this one has a 1 minus cosine. So one of them will probably help us out in the situation, and I'm going to use the first one. Okay, so let's use that one and go back to the worksheet. So I've written down the formula again over here. So sine square u over 2 is 1 minus cosine u. So in other words, 1 minus cosine u would be 2 sine square u over 2. So using that formula and just replacing that 1 minus cosine h over there, I get 2 sine square h over 2, the whole square. Doing some algebra, so definitely check the algebra. And I want you to try it out for yourself. But doing some algebra, you can open out the parentheses and move some 2's around so that you're looking at 2 times sine to the 4h over 2 divided by h over 2. And I'm going to move that constant outside the limit. It's just a constant. It's not a big deal. And then inside the limit, I'm going to get something that looks like this, and then I'm going to pull out whatever's remaining, and whatever's remaining is the sine cubed h over 2. And notice I also changed that limit as h going to 0 to h over 2 going to 0, and that's because if h is going to 0, equivalently h over 2 must be going to 0. But moving things around, what we get is that this limit is 1, right? Because that follows exactly from this fact over here. And then what we know about this is, well, as h over 2 goes to 0, sine of h over 2, and therefore sine cubed of h over 2 is going to go to 0. So our limit is 2 times 1 times 0 is just 0.